Welcome back, everybody. I'm Phil. That's Sam.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
Doing 12 most powerful military weapons in action.
It sounds kind of scary.
Well, most of the military stuff that we've been doing thus far has got a little bit of scare element to it because
definitely eye-opening.
Yeah, you were going to say?
I was saying definitely eye-opening, that's for sure.
The capabilities of it, yeah. Exactly what I was about to say. So, we're just going through, picking random military videos here, guys. If you got suggestions, drop them down low because it's hard to find content sometimes. So we're going with the 12 most powerful military weapons in action. I assume this is going to be entertaining and enlightening, which has been most of the military content that we've done thus far. Yeah. So if you enjoy the video, remember to hit that like button. Let's check it out.
Today, we will show the 10 most powerful weapons in the world. But first, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell. May it bring you 10 years of good luck. Remember these self-driving cars with miniguns from Terminator 3? When you look at the Uran 9 robot and the German Rheinmetall Mission Master, and I tell you that it's Skynet, only one thought comes to your mind. The Uran 9 is a 10-ton remote-controlled tank which carries 4 anti-tank missiles, a 30mm gun, flamethrowers, and a machine gun.
Wow.
Sure, it's not as cool as the robots from the movie, but even today, a dozen of these robots can patrol an area of several kilometers.
Wow.
Plus, any manpower and small-caliber weapons are useless against its armor.
Yeah.
And this remote-controlled German Rheinmetall Mission Master Armored Personnel Carrier helps soldiers transport personal belongings, weapons, ammunition, and other cargo weighing up to 600 kilograms to any hard-to-reach places. It's also armed with machine guns and MLRS, 14 70mm rockets. How awesome does this look? The only thing this machine gun lacks is being self-aware. Cluster bombs are the most terrifying aerial bombs in history. One such bomb, the CBU-58, contained 650 bombs the size of baseballs. When the CBU-58 was dropped from an aircraft, it would open up in the air. The CBU-89 cluster bomb created minefields in a matter of seconds.
That's crazy.
One 450-kilogram bomb contained 432 anti-tank and 132 anti-personnel mines, which fell to the ground and were active for 40 days.
That's insane.
Nothing could have saved you from these weapons. Cluster bombs are banned in 108 countries around the world as they are considered one of the most inhumane weapons.
Jeez.
The AK-630M2 Duet is a Russian automatic rotary cannon capable of finding and destroying any target at a distance of 5 kilometers. Fastest firing cannon on the planet, 1,000 rounds per minute with 30 by 165mm ammunition.
Holy
Watch
crap.
these two 6-barreled cannons shoot so fast they look like a flamethrower.
Jeez.
And this is the American Pro-Fence M134 minigun, the only machine gun in the world that can be controlled remotely without any human intervention at all. The Pro-Fence M134 minigun has the highest rate of fire of any machine gun, 6,000 rounds per minute.
6,000.
The Russian Bastion P is the fastest coastal missile system. It finds a target, fires a missile, then redeploys in less than 5 minutes.
Whoa.
This rate allows one Bastion P to control more than 600 kilometers of coastline. 30 of ththese vehicles could protect the entire U.S. coastline.
30.
The Bastion P is armed with the P-800 Onyx anti-ship cruise missile. The 8-meter, 3-ton missile can hit targets at a distance of 350 kilometers. A 300-kilogram warhead would tear as it approaches the target at a supersonic speed of 3.2 thousand kilometers an hour.
What?
This makes it difficult to detect and intercept with air defense. Does this rocket remind you of anyone? The S-400 Triumph is the most powerful anti-aircraft missile system in the world. It is capable of destroying
Jeez.
any aerial target, including ballistic missile. For comparison, the fastest rocket in the world, the Zircon, can reach a speed of 3 kilometers per second and fly around the Earth in
3
4
kilometers
hours.
per second?
But even that is too slow to escape the S-400, which can destroy targets reaching speeds of up to 5 kilometers per second. The S-400 takes only 2 to 3 seconds to lock all targets within a 600-kilometer radius and up to 100 kilometers high. After that, its homing missiles are ready to attack. The
Wow.
most frightening MLRS in the world. The TOS-1A is a tank with 24 thermobaric 220mm rockets. In 6 seconds, it can rain down fire on 40,000 square meters of land. That's 4 baseball fields. The thermobaric rockets are sprayed over and cause the fuel in enemy equipment to, but the maximum range of the TOS-1A is 6 kilometers. If the enemy is far away, then the 9A52-2 Smirch becomes the most powerful and longest range MLRS in the world. It can strike targets up to 120 kilometers away. The 9A52-2 is loaded with 12 300mm rockets. It can fire a full volley in just 38 seconds, shelling an area the size of 67 baseball fields.
Oh my God.
And if not just one combat vehicle,
It's insane.
Insane.
Yeah, 67 baseball fields. That's what we just left off at. That's wild. And some of the speed of these missiles is also wild.
Well, it's crazy because it's like before you can even detect, like if it's being fired on you, it's like before you can even detect that it's coming, it's like hitting you.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, I think like the only indication you'd probably have is like the heat signature initially. You might, as soon as it's fired, they might catch that on their weapons defense systems or whatever. But like you said, you don't have enough time to actually do anything about it unless you have an automated missile defense system, which protects you as soon as it registers and it automatically responds. And we had done a video recently, but like this is where AI is becoming even more important because if you don't have to be monitoring it as a human, and the artificial intelligence just immediately detects that there's been something that's gone off. That's your only defense system,
Yeah.
right? So your AI has to be super quick calculating, what I need to do. And
Or like I said in the past video, creating the Black Panther dome
yeah, exactly.
around the country.
But it's one thing I really do like about this video in particular is that we're getting to see the weaponry in action, which
Yeah.
some of the other videos that we've done, they've talked about it, but talked about the capabilities, but haven't been able to actually see it in action. So this has been really eye-opening just to see the extreme firepower happening, seeing some of the rounds that are going off at such an exponential speed that you have like a fireball
I was
coming
gonna say
out
that
of it.
one that it looked like a flamethrower because they were coming out so fast.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Even like those cluster bombs were really scary too. Like when you think about that.
All of these things have, like I said, a little bit of an element of scare to them because you wouldn't want to be caught on the other side. And, I think this is a thing as well that I'm included when I say this prior to doing these videos, that a lot of people don't understand the capabilities of the weaponry out there.
I
right?
had no clue. No clue.
You
before this.
you see these videos of wars that happened 100 years ago, right, or 50 years ago, where you're using rifles and
I was about to say like
or machine guns or whatever, right? And of course, there's been tanks and stuff like that, but this kind of missile capabilities has been just constantly evolving. And I won't say much else other than also it made me think of why the budget, the military budget, is so expensive. Because when you're going through this many rounds in such a short spurt of time, you can just, keep going through them and burn millions, billions of dollars
minutes.
in minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
size of 67 baseball fields. And if not just one combat vehicle's firing, but the whole convoy, then 69 A-52-2s would... Archer is the fastest artillery system in the world. The 155mm cannon takes only 23 seconds to turn around and fire the first shot. In 1 minute 14 seconds, the Archer is put on alert, fires 3 shots, and manages to redeploy. While the projectile is on its way to the target, Archer can also move to another location and launch another attack, making it virtually impossible to track down. Once on alert, the automatic artillery can fire 8 rounds per minute. Imagine what a few of these fast artillery systems are capable of. The enemy would go crazy trying to figure out where to return fire. Do you think the Flying Dutchman from Pirates of the Caribbean is the worst thing that can emerge from the water? Well, then check out this Ohio-class submarine. Terrifying, right? One Ohio-class submarine has 24 13-meter Trident II D5 rockets with 288 nuclear warheads on board. 12 warheads per missile. No other submarine in the world carries that many nuclear charges. The missile's flight range is 11.3 thousand kilometers. That's enough to fire at any part of the planet if it imperceptibly approaches the coast and unleashes all Trident II D5s from a depth of 30 meters. The United States has 14 of these submarines. Can you imagine what would happen if they launched all the missiles at the same time? No missile defense in the world would be able to handle that. Many nuclear ballistic missiles have more than one warhead. One rocket can drop up to 14 nuclear bombs.
What?
When a missile reaches an altitude of 100 kilometers, the warheads are deployed and they hit their targets with extreme precision. For example, the R-30 Bulava missile contains 10 nuclear warheads, which are 10 times more powerful than the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima.
That's insane.
The R-30s are fired from a submarine, just like the Trident II missiles on the Ohio-class submarines. Now look at this. The 22-meter RS-24 Yars Intercontinental ballistic missile with a range of 12,000 kilometers. Think it has even more warheads? Well, no, just 4, but each of them is... We have come to the most powerful weapon on the planet. The RS-28 Sarmat is the world's largest and longest range intercontinental ballistic missile. The RS-28 is as tall as a 10-story building, 35 meters.
Wow.
The rocket weighs 200 tons and is about as wide as a Boeing 737.
Wow.
The gigantic RS-28 is capable of hitting a target at a distance of 18,000 kilometers.
That's insane.
That's enough to fly across Eurasia from west to east. But that's not all. The RS-28 has the most powerful warheads. Each warhead weighs 1 ton and has a yield of 750 kilotons. One launch can drop 10 nuclear warheads. And on top of that, the RS-28 is the most undetectable missile in the world. It's the only rocket on the planet that can be launched through the South Pole. That makes the RS-28 invisible to missile defense systems, because all radars are oriented to the west and the east. Now imagine what 10 or even 100 of these missiles could do. And that's all. We hope you enjoyed the video.
And that's all. Looks like they had to cut out some segments there, maybe from copyright related issues.
Yeah, it's cut off there a couple times.
But so I believe the ballistic missile that they were just talking about there, Russia used one of them against Ukraine. I can't remember. There was an escalation of sorts. They used one. They didn't attach a nuclear warhead to it, but they just used the ballistic missile. I think it was more of a demonstration of capabilities that they can use it if they want to. But it was kind of like a sobering moment because nobody had ever used one of these before in war, if I'm correct on this. And so people were like, wow, like, you know, we didn't think we'd actually come to this point where somebody would be using this weapon. And that's what I've kind of said. Like, of course, you know, there's people are going to go back and forth about Ukraine and Russia and all that kind of stuff. But it's like those weapons that we just saw, like they can do way more damage than, you know, what we're seeing on the ground with these, you know, surface area wars. You know, if a country like the US, Russia, you know, China, obviously to an extent, wants to do something really, really bad, in the name of war. They can because they have the capability of these weapons, and most countries don't because they don't have the military spend budget to put into this, right? So that's why I'm just anti-war in general, right? Like, this video, I think, highlights why you would never want to get into a war because with these countries now and their capabilities, because, I think that's the other part of it. It acts as a deterrence, right? When you have these capabilities, it almost acts as a deterrence because people we don't want to go to war because we know it's it's bad news all around, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think that's what I was saying to you midway through is that a lot of people don't recognize the capabilities of what is out there. And so yeah, we can take on, this country and we can do that. And
You're
blah, 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 blah.
except that you can't.
And it's like, no, you don't really know the reality of what's possible. And so I think that more people would be reserved about conflict if they knew the capabilities that were out there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And one thing that kind of crossed my mind while watching this, and not that I'm advocating for, testing a lot of this stuff and, putting it out into harming, being a risk of harming people. But for example, they said there was a nuclear warhead on there that was 10 times as powerful as the bomb they dropped on Hiroshima. And I'm like, but how do they know that? Are they testing this somewhere? How would you even possibly test that and not have some sort of negative backlash as a repercussion for testing these kind of things?
Well, I think they do some of them testing underground.
Okay.
Also, I think they can just extrapolate using math. They know the size of what they used in the bomb in Hiroshima, for example, and the destruction that it caused. Of course, like you said, it's an estimate, I imagine, to a degree, because you don't know the fallout, for example, of where, if it landed in open air, how far some of that might reach in terms of, the effects that it would have for radiation and all that kind of stuff. I think that's probably an unknown to a degree because some of it, the wind direction can affect that, for example, right? So I'm definitely not an expert in that by any means, but I think the thing that's also sobering about that is 10 times more powerful, but then they could drop 10 of those warheads all at the same time.
Yeah.
So, it's like you're talking about annihilating just a massive amount of people, land, whatever, right? So, again, the capabilities that are out there today are literally insane, and we just saw some of that in this video. And I think, like I said, though, this video in general, I did enjoy it because it really showcased, I think, in depth what so much of this capability looks like.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the most visual demonstration we've gotten thus far.
Yeah. So let us know if there's other videos like this one that you want us to check out down below. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you drop us some comments and give us insights about any of the conversation that Sam and I have had, because we always like learning on this channel. That's what we're here to do. So if you want to be a part of it, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching, guys.